What's up, guys? MTG GAME STATE. It's your boy SmokePacks here. Coming in with more Commander banned and restricted news, and albeit pretty controversial, as well as some stuff going on with the bracket system and just generally updates with the whole Commander rules committee in general. Kind of talking off the top of my head, but as we get along into the segment, I'll make more sense. So let's see what's going on. Okay, I'm fading into the darkness, just as you all are after you heard the Commander banned and restricted news. So some of us right away, I've been telling people they're gonna announce right away, first off. This is a long article, and I'll post it in the Twitch chat. It'll also be in the description of the YouTube for the segment for those of you watching at home. But this is about like a 3 or 4 day old news as of today, April 25th, 2025. This is from April 22nd. We have Gifts Ungiven unbanned, Sway of the Stars unbanned, Braids Cabal Minion unbanned, the mono black braids, old school one, Coalition Victory unbanned, which is kind of okay, fine. Panoptic Mirror unbanned, and I'm seeing this card go for like $100, $113. Everyone was expecting news for the Mana Crypt unbanning and all that, but I think, as they've mentioned previous, because some of the information gets just confused in the crosshairs, they're going to wait until after Magic Vegas to really decide all that. But in this article, Gavin Verhey, since he's in charge of he's now newly head of the Commander Rules Committee, with a couple other of some people from the past and new people. He just was in charge of giving some literature on what's going on in the format and why they chose the cards to unban and all that. So we can kind of go over it a little bit, but I'm just going to glance the article and just kind of get into it and talk off the top of the dome, give my personal thoughts and feelings. So when it came to reviewing the banned list and unbanning cards, we felt that cards we unbanned should meet some or all of these criteria. Cards that have some fond memories associated with them, cards that can contribute to positive play patterns, enjoyable decks, and or splashy moments, cards that don't create runaway games or negative play patterns. There's also cards we felt that would be safe at the power level of bracket 3 and above, where game changers generally sit. However, we also wanted to recognize the idea of commander brackets, and the game changers list is still relatively new, and not that everybody will be using these systems. We want to be mindful of the cards we choose to unban. So some people, especially in the play groups I'm in, we're still kind of talking about the bracket system, but also at the same time we're going by the old power level system. If you're in Tolarian Community College Discord, that was usually like the go-to conversation, or any of the spell table lobbies. It's usually the go-to convo with Rule 0 was what power level are we at, and then what kind of games can we expect. As always, they do want to promote conversations, on starting your games, and we try to have like a quick in-depth discussion. Yesterday in my play group, we were just having discussions with types of games we're going to get with some new players I haven't even played games with, and where we're going, even if it didn't make sense on the bracket system. And I feel like as long as you get game changers, if you have 3 game changers, that's a bracket 3, 2 to 3, or 1 to 3 game changers is a bracket 3. But I feel like as we keep moving along, that will change based off how much interaction do you really have. It's not even about the game changers, it's like interaction plus game changers. And in this article, Gavin does talk about, besides the reasons why they removed and added stuff, they just talk about, he does explain in this article, this is a thick, fat article, but in there he does explain that, yes, we're aware some bracket 3s are really bracket 4s, and some bracket 2s are really bracket 3s. Kind of use your own discretion still. It's still a work in progress. But real quick, on Dockside Extortionist, Jeweled Lotus, and Mana Crypt in this article, that's really what I wanted to talk about realistically. It's literally the only unbannings I care about. We would be plugging our ears if we didn't acknowledge the elephants in the room when it comes to this series of unbans. The September bans of Dockside Lotus and Mana Crypt. Many players out there probably immediately scrolled down this long article quickly as they could discover the fates of these cards. We did talk about these cards and are not unbanning them at this time. Opinions from the Commander format panel varied. Some believe Commander is more fun without them. Others are more likely time to see how Commander bracket system is adopted before we do anything here. So I will be transparent and say that I believe if any of these are ever returned, the most likely one is Jeweled Lotus, due to its one-shot nature, iconic feel, and ability to help support high mana value commanders. I want to be clear, this is Gavin Verhey talking. This is not me saying that will ever happen, but that was the one among the panel with the most traction. So we're going to see what's going on. These cards will be something I'm sure we'll talk about next year, but for this year, the book is closed on these 3 cards. So it seems like this year, even after Magic Vegas, I don't think they're going to sway their mind. So already talking out my ass, getting a straight answer from the man himself. There you go. Future bans. Commander's been through a lot since September. It's been a time with change of hands, a new panel being formed, and lots of uncertainty around that will remain on the banned list. After this appraisal of the banned cards list and changes, we'd like to take some time and just let things sit. For everybody to exhale and waiting on this announcement and having a bit more of a relaxed time in the Commander news world. Additionally, we'd love to give more time for the Commander bracket system to develop, which will help inform how much moving cards off the ban list and onto the game changers list does for how often and where those cards show up. So blah, 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 blah. We're going to figure it out. We're going to keep it loose and fast, you know? That's basically what he's saying. And there's a YouTube video on Good Morning Magic. I forgot to like it. I'll link it in the YouTube as well, where Gavin, before the announcement of like 2 or 3 days ago of all this news, Gavin on his YouTube channel talked about what's going on. More salad. What's going on, guys? Nadu will never be unbanned, guys. Come on now. But just want to check in with chat, see how y'all are doing. But so that's like the scoop on what's going on with the Commander banned and restricted news. Moving forward, Gavin wanted to talk about the bracket system. They just updated the brackets game changers list with some new cards. We're just gonna slightly brisk over. It's gonna be in the article as well that I will link in chat, and it will be in the YouTube video. More so, I just want you guys to click these things, read the articles, see how you feel about it, and kind of just keep you updated with the literature, what's going on. This is so much to read. I don't need to necessarily explain everything Gavin is doing. He went to the time to write this article. I'd appreciate if you all honestly just did your own research and looked into it, and I'll provide you the stepping stones on what to look at. Just follow me, you know what I'm saying? So that being said, Gavin wanted to just talk about, he's lately always been talking about intent of play. So when we first rolled out the bracket system, one mistake I believe we made was to not emphasize how important the intent you have for your deck is when selecting its bracket. The game changers list and the bracket guidelines got most of the emphasis, and intent sat on the sidelines. However, in terms of importance, those should be flipped. Intent is the most important part of the bracket system. So basically, intent is, on bracket 1, where am I going with this? On bracket 2, where am I going with this? Or in general, on X deck, where am I going with this? I just want to have a theme of just werewolves. A lot of the werewolf cards aren't that good. They're not going to get you anywhere. So that's going to be like a bracket 1 deck. I just want to play a precon. There you go. You got your bracket 2, bracket 3-ish sometimes. Depending on what the deck is, it could be a bracket 3. Don't fucking shoot me here. So I just want to point out, Gavin is really vocal about just like your vocalizing at the table your intent of play. So even if you have a bracket 2, maybe it does play like a bracket 3, talk to the table and get it going. And I just want to say, as an example, my play group has done that in the last couple of days, and it's kind of been a little clunky, but it's working out where I'm having enjoyable games as of the last year opposed to, So that's just my opinion. So Game Changers list got updated, and I actually think they took off recently as a current new update. Trouble in Pairs is not a game changer anymore, but I just wanted to go over. Trinisphere is a game changer now. Teferi's Protection, Humility, Narset Parter of Veils, Intuition, Consecrated Sphinx, Necropotence, Orcish Bowmasters, Notion Thief, Deflecting Swat, Gamble, Worldly Tutor, Crop Rotation, Seedborn Muse, Natural Order, Food Chain, Aura Shards, Field of the Dead, and Mishra's Workshop are now game changers. Pretty much Crop Rotation, anything that's like tutor is going to basically become a game changer at some point. And Crop Rotation can search for any land. It's not just basics. I don't know. I can get why they're doing it. It is a land tutor. Seedborn Muse just cheats out big things. It can change stuff. We'll see what happens. Maybe they can take stuff off, since they do put stuff on, and they proved that they took off Trouble in Pairs from the Game Changers list. So we'll see what happens moving forward. And in this article, it's nice because they do explain what's going on. Like, Humility slows down games immediately. It could be in any bracket. Just putting that card in a deck makes it one game changer that can really affect the game. And same with like Narset, Orcish Bowmasters, Notion Thief. they kind of affect the players, and so that kind of slows down gameplay or can dramatically change it in a way where even it doesn't benefit the person who played it. So I get why they're adding all this stuff and kind of reviewing some of the more broken cards we see in Commander, especially I play like 3 to 4 games a week, sometimes a day. Sorry, 3 to 4 games a day, a week. So there's a lot of these cards I do see, and they have changed stuff. When you see it, you're like, fuck, the game's done, the game's over, something's changing hardcore. So I just wanted to give my little comments on that. Aura Shards was a good one, because we were saying not a lot of people play removal in any color outside of green-white, but even in green-white, it's good to, in Commander, consider removal for artifacts and enchantments. This is, we all thought this was kind of a good include, so. All right, now, that being said, finally, everyone's favorite, and my notes are kind of all sporadic all over the place. I wanted to get into the market finance part of the show. This is going to be inspired by my recent games with the community. Shout out Chill Bro, you know who we are. Shout out my higher power players in the Pack Boys Nation. Playing with them has made me a better Magic the Gathering player. And if you guys see any of these names I'm shouting out in the Tolarian Community College Discords, look out for the Pack Boys. Table 15 is our unofficial table. We love you, the prof, and all that stuff. But I met all these people there and kind of brought them into my fold, and now we're kind of a play group of friends who just can play Magic together and hang out. And I've learned a lot from people in my community on higher power play, because I realize I'm kind of casual, even though I play Staxy and Land Destroy. I don't play serious, I'm starting to realize. So today's market info is going to be based off counter spells, my top 3 that I think are really good and you should probably look into. So first one on my list is a card I don't actually own, and I think everyone should get it, especially if you're in blue. Stifle. I'm going with the Scourge print. Now it's suffering from, oh no, I'm in premium prints, so my price is gonna be a lot. I know. So whatever printing you get, I'd say look for maybe a cheaper version, but it's still gonna be pretty premium. Secret Layers are pretty recent. World Championship decks are not tournament legal, but hey, if we use proxies and Commander, these are okay. But any of your more premium stuff like Judge Promos and Masterpieces are going to obviously be a pretty penny. Now, Stifle is a 1-drop blue instant counter target activated or triggered ability. Mana abilities can't be targeted. Legal and Legacy, Vintage, Commander, and Historic, right where it counts. For the Scourge print, market listing on TCGplayer is $24.18. Average listing is going to be about $24. So everyone's kind of buying around $24, $25 and listing around $25 for the Scourge print. Like I said, it's kind of suffering from the, oh no, I'm printing a lot of premium stuff. And even its more recent printings, again, are Secret Layer. We're going to see this in Legacy everywhere, all over the place, which is nice. So again, cards that are used as like format staples are also going to command a high price, even if there's like as much printing as in the world outside of premium stuff. So a card I really would use if I had it, and it's always constantly used against me, shuts down Planeswalkers, shuts down activated abilities or triggered abilities, obviously. That's really big in Commander and can really set your board position if you use it right and get recursion with that spell too. So going in at number 1. Number 2, the next 2 cards won me a game, so that's kind of me also shamelessly putting them on. But they are used against me more often than not too. So Streets of New Capenna, a new recent card, an offer you can't refuse. I love this because the name of the card's kind of funny. It's like, hey, I'll make you an offer you can't refuse, kid. Because it was, the 1920s gangster set. But it's an instant in blue, 1-drop, counter target non-creature spell. Its controller creates 2 treasure tokens. Now, I get it. It's a little like, do I really want to help my opponent with mana? 2 treasures is honestly really big. But for 1 cost entry, you really can't beat this spell. It's hitting not just instants or sorceries or artifacts and enchantments. It's hitting all non-creatures. Anything that's countering a target creature spell is usually going to be cheap anyways, cheap entry. So I wouldn't worry about that. This is just really good use case and kind of holding it off in my experience. I held this card off till the last, it was just me and one other player. Held this down, and then I kind of also ramped up a bit to get the next card we'll talk about, card number 3 on our list. But average listing on this is about $2.38. Market's buying for about $2.58, close to $3. I don't really think it's, oh wow. Reprinted Magic Foundations and extended art, that's nice. Reprinted Magic Foundations in general. It's in Commander Bloomborough. I'd say some premium sets, a core set, you know, it's on the list. He's got a Pro Tour kitty print. What more can I say? We'll say, yeah, it's going to be a premium card. It's good counter spell in general anyways. $3 rounded up, I could do that for you. Get it while you can. Now the next card is kind of, you'll look at it, same like an offer you can't refuse, and be like, this is pretty bad. But honestly, this card got me the game, along with an offer you can't refuse, because I casted an offer you can't refuse, that got wrecked. And then I went into casting this card, albeit the Mystical Archives version. Memory Lapse is a 2-drop, 1 in a blue. And I like that it's 1 colorless in a blue, because Counterspell is 2 blue pips, so that kind of telegraphs that you got a Counterspell. Although, anyone should know if there's any blue open, that's automatically Counterspell's open, but you get what I'm saying? Kind of keeps them guessing. So it's a 2-drop, 1 in a blue instant, counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, put it on top of its owner's library instead of into that player's graveyard. So, I don't know, kind of giving them their spell back at the cost of them losing their draw and it becoming their draw. It's only a 79-cent bought card on TCGplayer. Average listing is about 86 cents for the Strixhaven base printing. It is printed. It's not using any decks recently. It is printed across some premium sets, I'd say. It's got some World Championship printings. It's got the Japanese Strixhaven Mystical Archive print. But again, niche card. And even the sets it's printed across, it's just like a general like use case card, it seems. But I'm telling you, do not sleep on it. It's a good card. I went into offer you can't refuse, having my opponent think that they had the game. Boom, into a Memory Lapse, second counter spell. It's just good because it's a cheap counter spell. And if you could follow up a counter spell with the second counter spell, I'd recommend Memory Lapse for that little option. I wouldn't use this as your first go-to to counter something, but this is a nice follow-up card to have in hand, okay? So that's my third card on the list. Now, going into the honorable mention, it's not a counter spell, but it is a blue spell, and I think it's something that we need as Commander players, especially in blue if you're playing for artifacts. I'm sounding an alarm on the Antiquities print of Reconstruction. Is a sorcery in blue, 1-drop. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Legal and Legacy, Vintage, Pauper, and Commander, so it is a good Pauper card as well. How competitive in Pauper is, I don't know, yet to be determined, but at least maybe in the 60 card format this is good for Pauper, but Pauper Commander, we'd have to see. I'd have to check in on that. I think it's good. Average listing on TCGplayer is $1.13. Market's buying at $1.25. I can think of so much stuff where your graveyard kind of becomes your secondary hand, and a lot of stuff in black and green returns things to your hand. Having that little extra edge in blue, especially for artifacts, I think is just a good hit. It's only in a lot of older sets too, and priced pretty much at $0.25 and revised. I'd get at it. I'm sounding the alarm on it, okay? That's all I gotta tell you, that's all I gotta say. It's neither here nor there. So that's the Market Watch. Today is April 25th, 2025. If you're watching on Twitch, this is live as of today. I'm gonna have the episode upload, this segment cut and uploaded on Monday, April 28th around midnight. But as always, you can catch the full Twitch VOD back tomorrow on Saturday, April 26th. So that's what's going on. Let me know what's going on. See you on the YouTube side.